All of these are exotics from another country.
Yeah.
They all require light, and that's not what they're going to get in the forest. This is a closed canopy forest.
Okay, yeah.
And so they'll get rid of their own weeds, and in 800 to 1,000 years, this forest will be back to what it should be.
Oh, wow.
So I've got to hang around. But, I mean, what's 1,000 years and 135 million years, which is the age of this forest? We have to conserve this environment if we wish to learn from it, and that's our future, is learning how this has managed to survive for 135 million years, because maybe we'll get a few pointers as to how we should survive.
Yeah.
That's about 800 years old, and I'll tell you who was standing there about 11 years ago. George Clooney.
Really?
George
Clooney?
And in the 16 years I've been here, this tree has flowered 3 times. Each time has been 6 months after a cyclone. So we had Cyclone Rona in February 99, then we had Larry 4.5 years ago, and then on the 31st of January we had our own little cyclone that no one knew anything about. It was more like a little tornado. It tore through the middle of our forest, pushing trees over, taking the tops off and stimulating regeneration. So cyclones are good things, you have to have them.
Yeah.
It's more of the ancient stock of the Daintree. It is the most primitive fern on earth. It's called Xylotum, and so it's dated back 350 million years. Modern human lifestyle impacts have probably started with white man's intrusion into the environment. I don't think that the indigenous people had the same impacts as we do. The indigenous people were nomadic, they didn't build structures, they didn't construct roads, they had a different sort of life. So let's go with the modern being us white people coming into this land here and what we did. And the English, when they came into Australia, were a nation of farmers. And that's what we did. We cut down forests and we farmed them. Well, the experts say about 2,020 metres, and the most popular guess would be 1,500. Either way, it's old and it is not happy. It's exposed to light. Cycads don't like light. It's just an amazing bird.
Yeah.
It eats a few stones to help its digestive process along, like the other dinosaurs, and it's responsible for distributing and germinating 37 seeds that will not grow in this forest unless the cassowary distributes them.
Oh, so these trees depend on the cassowary?
Yes. So when a tree came down here, it exposed it to the light, and so it's moving slowly away and thinking seriously about life and whether it's worth continuing or not. If we lose the cassowary, then nothing's going to transport the seeds.
How many cassowaries did you say were left?
In the Daintree, they estimated about 54. We think there's closer to 100 in the Daintree. And for all of Australia, they're saying 1,000.
Is that number dropping? Or
Yes, it's dropping. This is here for the people who really want to understand about nature and to feel the power of it and to understand how small and insignificant humans are in comparison to this amazing forest. And then we started getting these fancy plants. This one gets a great big woody cone up the top. It's around about that size. This little tree here is called Haplostachanthus. It hasn't got a common name because it's not a good timber tree. It seems if you're not a good useful tree, you don't get a common name. And all of a sudden it explodes. Bright red seeds are thrown on the ground, and then there's a little animal called a musky rat kangaroo. He is the most primitive of the kangaroo family, and he's out during the day and it's his job to pick up the seed, transport it away from the parent and hide it somewhere. Feral pig diggings.
Oh really?
We have an enormous problem in the Daintree. We have a pig expert who lives up here. His name is Piggy Pavlov, and he's estimated we have something like 10,000 pigs in the Daintree. They're introduced, they don't belong, and we have a government that says you may not shoot in National Park, and so our pigs have the same level of protection as the cassowary. And the cassowary is endangered, and the greatest threat is feral pigs.
Really?
Yes, they dig for worms, they eat the roots of young plants, they stop regeneration of the forest.
Yeah.
They have to go.